what he got into? Got into my fist. That's what he got into.
The Fishin' Show with JT Kenney is brought to you by Florida Space Coast. Plan your next adventure at visitspacecoast.com. Ardent Reels, Halo Fishing Rods, Freedom Lures, B&W Trailer Hitches, Nichols Lures, Scum Frog, Snag Proof, Bob Steele Chevrolet, Netbait, Greenway Plant reminds you to thank the farmer. Set the hook base.
The Fishin' Show with JT Kenney, solo edition. Today we are in one of my very favorite places to fish. We're right here in Central Florida, not very far from where I live, but we got some different lakes from what you guys are used to seeing all the time. You guys are used to seeing me punching mats, and fishing grass and hydrilla and milfoil and everything. Today, not happening. That's not what we're doing. And if it's anything like a normal fishing show with JT Kenney, by the end of the day we will be fishing grass. But the plan right now, it's middle of summer, a little rain shower coming in right now. That's all supposed to blow through as the day goes on. We are going to be fishing brush piles. We're going to be fishing offshore structure. We got a couple of lakes around here that are pretty deep. Got a lot of 25, 35 foot, and some of these bass that live on these deeper piles and deeper drop-offs and stuff are mondos, straight up Chungosaurus rexes. And that's what we're going to be chasing today. We're going to be fishing out offshore. Might be doing some deep cranking, maybe some spoon gigging with some nickel spoons. Who knows what we might be doing, maybe some football jigs. I don't know. All I know is we're going to be fishing deep and we're going to be targeting big bass. The Fishin' Show with JT Kenney starts right now. So I got this Nichols football jig, and what we're doing on these offshore brush piles today is we're trying to mimic brim. So what I did is I put an actual living rubber skirt on my jig instead of a regular synthetic rubber skirt. And what that does is that living rubber, it's round rubber, and it really flares out bigger. And like I said, we're not trying to imitate a crawfish or anything. We're trying to imitate a brim, so I want that big profile. And a big pocket chunk senior from Netbait. This is in this tilapia magic color. And I just slide it up on there just a little bit, not too much, because I want that thing hanging down there. I want that big profile. So we're gonna go with that.
Big John bass.
Like a tuna.
How about that one, folks? How about that one, ladies and gents? That's not a 10, but it's really damn close. And I mean, dude, that Nichols football jig is absolutely impaled. Absolutely impaled. And I can't get it out. Look at that. There it goes. Pack a craw. Funk donkey. Dude, we're gonna weigh this. We're gonna weigh this fish. It's really heavy. Its eyes, see its little ball guys right there? Its eyes aren't quite big enough to be a 10, but that fish is so dense. I'm dense, the fish is dense, and that was awesome. Let's see with this beast. 8.8. Alright, nothing like catching 8-pounders, cuz. Look at that beast. Let's get her back in the water. It's summertime like this, you want to make sure you get these fish back. Get them back quick. Look at the size of that thing. Look how broad it is across the back. I like big bass and I cannot lie. See this higher area right here? That's the brush pile that's right out in front of us. It's 40 feet out in front of us. And the spot lock's moving around a little bit, so you can see it good here. And then as the spot lock moves, we'll lose it a little bit. But I'm throwing about 40 feet out and I'm landing right in that brush top. The old nickel spin plug duped another one. Not a giant. You know, this is a really fun way though, and boy, he is mad. This is a really fun way sometimes to fish this brush and this deeper cover in the summertime. You know, everybody, say it's a 1 ounce. It's a decent little fish. You know, everybody gets out there, and don't get me wrong, all this stuff works. You know, crankbaits and jigs and worms and all this stuff works, but a lot of times these fish see that stuff a lot. What they don't see is a big spinner. This is a 1 ounce Nichols pulsator, and this is that lavender shad color. Not that there's a whole, there are shad in here. I really think these fish are feeding on brim this time in the summer, but it's just a different presentation, you know, something they don't see all the time. Let's fire it back out there, see if we can catch one a little bit bigger. Something they haven't seen. So you might have to ask, why are you putting a dirty cover on a clean boat? Let me tell you. So I went fishing today, got a little afternoon thunderstorm, got the road muddy. It was a dirt road where I went into this lake on. I didn't want to get my boat all nasty like that, so I put the cover on. That's gonna bring us to this week's B&W trailering tip of the week. So I put the cover on, obviously to keep the dirt out of the boat going out the muddy road. But when I got to the end of the muddy road, got to the hardtop, took the cover back off. I do that because I don't like to trailer with the cover on unless I absolutely have to, as you can see where it's muddy. When I get on the hardtop road, I take it off because as the trailer flaps, or as the cover flaps in the wind, it can beat up the wrap on my boat. You know, I got a nice wrap on it, and you know, that keeps the boat really nice. So it'll beat the wrap up, make the wrap look bad, and the cover will actually bow up in the wind when you get out on the highway, get up to highway speeds. It'll bow up and it really hurts your gas mileage. So like I said, unless you absolutely have to, you know, I take the cover off when I'm trailering it, once again, unless it's on a muddy road. But now I'm putting the cover back on the boat so I can wash the cover properly and get it all taken care of. So that's your B&W trailering tip of the week. Yep. Yep. Yeah, you know, he's hooked yet. Fart smellers! He got off! Fart smeller! That fish didn't even know he was hooked. That was a giant, ladies and gentlemen. That was an absolute giant. I had no idea he was even hooked. There's some hammers here. I mean, there's hammers right here. Oh! I hope he doesn't ever jump like that ever again until I have my fist right square in his face. Square in his face. The only place I want it to be. I'm not a violent man. I want my fist in this fish's face. That's what he's trying to get back into. You know what he got into? Got into my fist. That's what he got into. Look at old bulge-eyed Betty right there, son. Look at that guy. If you guys don't think that Nichols football jig has done some damn work today, not to mention the old packet crawl, if you don't think that thing's done some work today on these bass, oh man. Funk donkey. Oh, holy crap. Now, it's middle of the summer. Let's get these fish back in the water. We'll get a picture off the film. Let's get her back in the water. Two giants on the Nichols football jig with a pack of chunk on the back in one day. And you know what? I ain't done yet. All right, guys, I want to show you exactly how I've been fishing these brush piles. I got the Lowrance Live sight on, and I want you to check this out. So I got the Minn Kota's on spot lock, so it's heading in the same direction. This right here, this right here, and you can see it's between probably 32 and 40 feet away from the front of my boat. That's the brush pile that we just caught. There's another fish coming up right there, even closer to the boat. It's only 15 feet off the front of the boat. But that's the brush pile right there. Now see how it disappeared for a minute and then it came back? That's because the spot lock is moving around a little bit, and the spot lock's moving. But when it's pointed, the trolling motor's pointed at that brush pile, that's what you see is that. That is an 8-pounder. All right, guys, I needed to get out of the wind just for a minute because that wind is howling out there today. But I wanted to kind of show you guys what we're catching them on and how we're actually doing this. So basically a lot of what we're doing today, we're catching fish around brush piles way offshore. A lot of these Central Florida lakes, that people don't know about this, but there's a lot of lakes down here that actually have some deep water in them and some pretty good, offshore fishing in the summertime and in the wintertime too, believe it or not. But it's mostly brush piles what we're doing today. There's some hard spots. When I say hard spots, I mean it's just places where there's some shells and stuff like that, and just makes places where the bait fish and the brim and everything like to come. But the one thing we caught a few on so far is this a 1 ounce Nichols pulsator spinnerbait. I actually put a smaller blade here. It came with a lot bigger blade, but to be able to keep it down, I'm not on the bottom with this thing, but in 17 to 23 feet of water, I want this thing to be in, 16, 17, 17 when I'm in 23. But that's a 1 ounce, throw it out, let it sink all the way to the bottom. Got it on 18-pound line. I got an Ardent Apex Grand reel and the Halo XD3 Pro. This is a new rod from Halo. It's got the Sensi Touch rings for the grip and the exposed blank handle. This $99 rod, and it is, to me, I mean, it does a lot of stuff good, but it is the awesome spinnerbait rod. But then the thing that so far we've done the most damage on has been a Nichols football jig. Nothing fancy. You can see I just caught one. The skirt's pulled down off of it, and I've been putting I've caught them on several different things. Most of them have come on pack a craw for a trailer. That's the baby pack a craw and June bug. Nothing fancy. I mean, I'm just rigging it up on there just a little bit and kind of letting it hang down to make that big profile. And most of the time I use a 3/4 ounce Nichols football jig. But this time I'm using a half just because it's what I had tied on and I keep getting bit, so I'm gonna leave it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. So that's where I'm going with that. I got a 14-pound line on this and the Halo KS2 Elite. This is a 7.5 medium heavy, and that's what I'm throwing the football jig on. Ardent Apex Grand 7.3 to 1. And that 7.3 to 1 is important today because so many of these fish, I'm dragging that jig real slow on the bottom. A couple of them I've caught when I hopped it up out of the brush pile, but most of it's dragging real slow on the bottom. And I'm not getting a bite and a pull. I'm just feeling a tick, and my line just drops. It just goes slack like they're coming at me. So I got to turn the handle real fast to get caught up, get that line tight so I can set the hook. So that's basically the setup so far today. Like I said, I just wanted to slip in here, get out of the wind a little bit, show you guys what's up. Like old grouper. Sometimes you gotta hold him tight, boys. Hold him tight. Come on up in here, boy. See, that fish got down in that brush pile. And sometimes you just hold him tight and they'll pull out, and sometimes you try to keep the line a little bit tight. Not that it's a great big one, but try to keep the line a little bit tight, and then he'll think he's free and swim away. Not a giant, but every one of them's fun. I've stripped a lot of drag today. Well, I haven't stripped any, actually. Fish have. There you are. Tense moment. Oh, look how broad that one is. Oh God! God! He scared me right at the end. Oh my God. I mean, look how that football jig just, I mean, stabified another Chungus Maximus. We have had some absolute unbelievable fun. Look how broad that fish is across its back. I mean, there is nothing skinny about that thing. That is just, I mean, that's 6.5 pounder. Just a beautiful, beautiful bass. Oh, another just absolute giant. Guys, the deep water fishing today was phenomenal. Let's get this one right back in. Summertime, we want to get them back as quick as we can. There she goes, back down into the depths. Dude, what a day. Holy crap. We caught 3 friggin' giants. Had another great big one on, caught a couple of 3-pounders. Fun. And that just, summertime, not too many people think Florida deep water fishing. There's some lakes that you can do it on. And man, we absolutely smashed them today. I had a blast. And you know what? I may even sneak back out there. I got about a half hour left before it gets dark. Maybe we'll even do that. But anyway, I just want to thank you guys for watching the Fishin' Show with JT Kenney. Solo edition, because it was just me out here today. Usually we have a guest. It was just me, and had an absolute awesome time. We weighed one that was 8 something. We caught 2 more that were in that same range. I mean, what more can you ask for? Remember, check me out on Major League Fishing.
The Fishin' Show with JT Kenney is brought to you by Florida Space Coast. Plan your next adventure at visitspacecoast.com. Ardent Reels, Halo Fishing Rods, Freedom Lures, B&W Trailer Hitches, Nichols Lures, Scum Frog, Snag Proof, Bob Steele Chevrolet, Net Bait. Greenway Plants reminds you to thank a farmer. Set the Hook Baits.